Hi, Tom. This is a special day. I'm glad to be here with you to begin the celebration of the Global Clinical Engineering Day.
So glad to be with you as well.
You know, this is a special day, a celebration recognizing the contribution of the clinical engineering professionals all over the world and what they're making every single day before the COVID-19, especially during the pandemic, and for generations to come. You know, 5 years ago in Hangzhou, China, during the first series of the International Clinical Engineering and Health Technology Management Congresses, and immediately following the first Global Clinical Engineering Summit, we stood up on October 21st. We recognized the profession and declare the importance of the work we do towards the promotion of safe, appropriate, accessible, high quality, and reliable pool of technological tools serving the growing healthcare needs all over the world. What is happening since this modest beginning is tremendous growth of community of participating clinical engineering programs, society, and individuals in this celebration of recognition. I'm excited, I'm proud to be here today with you, and I'm looking forward to hear your assessment of what have we achieved so far. Tom, back to you.
Hey, Yadin, thanks for that great interruption. It's my pleasure to talk about IFMBE Clinical Engineering Division and Global CE Day and how it all comes together, brother. So one thing we know is a year ago we were working with about 100 collaborators along with our board, and now we're up to 250 collaborators from 100 countries. And wow, what about this part of our work? That thing that you're the editor-in-chief of, the Global Clinical Engineering Journal. What a great job it's done. Yep, and our projects, and you know, this is really tools that we give to our societies to use, and it's all about what clinical engineers have told us in our summits. We need better recognition, we need capacity building, and we need to exchange with one another so we can learn best practices. Hey, today also, Yadin, we're going to talk about the CED Awards. So we're so glad about that. So we're reminded from this slide about the great work in Rome, and everybody knows about our 1,000 registrants from 70 countries and the great job we did writing up the proceedings in the journal. Hey, this is a familiar picture for you. This program a year ago in China, over 500,000 touches the first day. You know, our proclamation sets us off, and people can use that as they will around the world. We're so excited about Global CE Day in the past and as well as in the present. This is just a reminder that CED has grown from our first summit in 2015 in Hangzhou, 15 countries represented, to Sao Paulo, we're 30, and then in Rome, 48 countries represented in the room. So what's really happened? Well, you know, we talk about growth, but you know, what's the work that we've done? And we've worked on professional identification and really growing the societies and providing competency training. We've worked on engagement, both within the profession and outside, engaging with WHO and many other NGOs and the European Union and others. We focused on leadership training this year. What's that young CE maybe that's just gotten certified? You know, what's their next step? And so we've talked about best practices in our competency areas with a focus on leadership skills. Credentialing, our work continues, and I think more good news to come soon about that. In the area of policy and legislation, you know, in Rome, we talked about how can we help ministers of health implement telehealth programs. Well, then COVID-19 came along, and we've been talking to many ministers of health. And I think we'll be talking about both of those topics with them very soon. And last, but certainly not least, in the publications area, you've done an incredible job with the journal, Yadin, and bringing many colleagues alongside. So we talked about in the past that, we published about 400 success stories from 125 countries, and we wanted that story to get to our ministers of health. And, we created a letter a couple years ago. Board member Omir Bajovic from Bosnia and Herzegovina took that to 12 ministers of health in Southeastern Europe and translated it. But, we've gotten in the door now with the ministers of health through COVID-19. So our goal of getting the story about clinical engineers to ministers of health has been happening in 2020. Well, how have we grown? You already mentioned the 250-person board and collaborator team from 100 countries. WHO and the medical device unit, Adriana Velasquez, had to respond since March, and she invited us along, and we've responded in a major way. And now our relationships are in 170 countries. So this was around Rome. We were involved with 80 countries. Well, look at these 6 regions of the world now. We've added all these countries. So, for example, the 12 webinars we've done with WHO, 7 of them in English, 5 of them in French, have brought in 114 countries to participate. So overall, 170 countries now that CED is in regular contact with, probably almost every week. So what happened in our partnership with WHO? What were the results? Well, we created a knowledge network, and it has 5 parts to it. These webinars I've talked about, the regular meetings, our board and collaborator meetings, and WHO comes to those meetings and gives us their needs, and we help meet them. The newsletter that we publish, we pass on Adriana's newsletter to over 16,000 friends around the world regularly. We daily have a question and answer and a problem solving capability on our WhatsApp group that now has over 130 subscribers from 50 countries. And last but not least, daily for 40 plus days during the week since March, we've created this daily Hacking Ease newsletter that brings all these validated resources in the areas of health technology to our practitioners around the world so they can learn from these best practices and take next steps. So what's been the response? Well, you've heard something about it, but we dove deep with WHO around oxygen delivery, personal protective equipment, CPAP, BiPAP, pulse ox, ventilators, and decontamination. And we looked at those like clinical engineers know how to in a very holistic fashion. What are the clinical requirements? What are all the equipment and accessories and operation support issues and maintenance materials, decontamination, coordination of various activities, basically a systems and safety management approach to all of that. So, but we're not done yet, Yadin. We've got these rapid changes going on, and we're sharing stuff regularly, daily with each other to help each other meet these challenges. We're always looking and trying to implement the best possible guidelines for management of health technology. And we're, in May, in the middle of one of those town hall programs with CED and WHO, Adriana said 13 presidents were involved in a meeting, the World Health Assembly in Geneva that morning, and presidents or prime ministers and 130 ministers of health, and all of them were talking about medical equipment. This is our time in history to make a difference and to improve patient outcomes. Together we can make it better. And this is just a reminder as I close, Yadin, about the webinars we've had this year. 3 different buckets of webinars: our competency webinars, our COVID-19 webinars, and various international webinars, including the one you had back in April in China. And I know you've had many more. So how will I close? Well, with a little explosion here. We've had a social media explosion this year for our blog entries, our social media posts, our hacking, our WHO updates, our repository of all the information that we validate through our hacking program, our email campaigns, our WhatsApp group, and our Global CE Day. It's just been a great year, and back to you, Yadin, but so thankful for how CED has met the challenges.
That was a great presentation of the achievements over the last 5 years and what is happening around the world. A tremendous growth, just perfect reason to celebrate today. I really appreciate you taking the time to do that. And I think as we move forward, what I would like to conclude with is the idea that this is not celebration for clinical engineering achievement, but this is celebration of. Therefore, we must engage, participate, share the birthday cake with each other, raise a glass, and have a party. So together with you, Tom, I'm looking forward to cross the world and see what is happening in other countries today. So
Me
Tom,
too. Me too. Let's celebrate, brother.
great, great. Let's go.